Gopi Jana Ballabha Giridharadhari. Gopi Jana Ballabha Giridharadhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunachira Vanachari. Yamunachira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopi Janaballabha Giridharadhari. Jai Gopi Janaballabha Giridharadhari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamunachira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupadam Sabhadarajikachaya Astatara Satyasi Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupadam Sabhadarajikachaya Astatara Satyasi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki. Go Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, Chapter 19, King Prithu's 100 Horse Sacrifices, text 29 through 32. Ityamantya Kutupatim Vidurasya Tritorusha Shrugastan Duvato Bhyetya Swayambhu Pratyasedata Ityamantya Kratupatim Vidurasyat Twijorusha Shrugastan Duvato Bhyetya Swayambhu Pratyasedata Ityamantya Kratupatim Vidurasyat Twijorusha Shrugastan Juvato Bhyetya Swayambhu Pratyasedata Vaishnavis. Iti, thus, Amantriya, after informing, Kratupatim, King Prithu, the master of the sacrifice, Vidura, O Vidura, Asya, of Prithu, Ritvija, the priest, Rusha, in great anger, Shrukhastan, with the sacrificial ladle in hand, Juvata, performing the fire sacrifice, Abhyetya, having begun, Swayambhu, Lord Brahma, Pratyashedata, asked them to stop. Translation. My dear Vidura, after giving the king this advice, the priests who had been engaged in performing the sacrifice called for Indra, the king of heaven, in a mood of great anger. When they were just ready to put the oblation in the fire, Lord Brahma appeared on the scene and forbade them to start the sacrifice. Text 30. Lord Brahma addressed them thus: "My dear sacrificial performers, you cannot kill Indra, the king of heaven. It is not your duty. You should know that Indra is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, he is one of the most powerful assistants of the personality of Godhead. You are trying to satisfy all the demigods by the performance of this yajna, but you should know that all these demigods are but parts and parcels of Indra, the king of heaven. How then can you kill him in this great sacrifice?" Text 31. In order to make trouble and impede the performance of King Pritu's great sacrifice, King Indra has adopted some means that in the future will destroy the clear path of religious life. I draw your attention to this fact. If you oppose him any further, he will further misuse his power and introduce many other irreligious systems. Text 32. Let there be only 99 sacrificial performances for Maharaja Pritu, Lord Brahma concluded. Lord Brahma then turned towards Maharaj Pritu and informed him that since he was thoroughly aware of the path of liberation, what was the use in performing more sacrifices? Purport. Lord Brahma came down to pacify King Pritu regarding his continual performance of 100 sacrifices. King Pritu was determined to perform 100 sacrifices, and King Indra took this very seriously because Indra himself was known as the performer of 100 sacrifices. Just as it is the nature of all living entities within this material world to become envious of their competitors, King Indra, although king of heaven, was also envious of King Pritu and therefore wanted to stop him from performing 100 sacrifices. Actually, there was great competition, and King Indra, to satisfy his senses, began to invent so many irreligious systems to obstruct King Pritu. To stop these irreligious inventions, Lord Brahma personally appeared in the sacrificial arena. As far as Maharaja Pritu was concerned, he was a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, it was not necessary for him to perform the prescribed Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. Such ceremonies are known as karma, and there's no need for a devotee in the transcendental position to execute them. As the ideal king, however, it was King Pritu's duty to perform sacrifices. A compromise was therefore to be worked out. By the blessings of Lord Brahma, King Pritu would become more famous than King Indra. Thus, Pritu's determination to perform 100 sacrifices was indirectly fulfilled by the blessings of Lord Brahma. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You're in the midst of a crisis in the heavenly planets. Just like there are crises on the earth planet, just like now, humanity is in an extreme stage of crisis, often called the polycrisis, because many crises are all intersecting at once. And so Historians and social scientists are starting to doubt, does the current brand or version of humanity have a future? Or is the destiny, the unavoidable destiny of human beings today, is it extinction or self-annihilation? This crisis that we're reading about in the fourth canto involves mainly the heavenly planet, Swarga. You may wonder, well, why are we hearing about Indra? Why are we hearing about Swargalok? Why are we hearing about the Devatas, the demigods? Bhagavatam is teaching you that you're not alone. You're not a solitary individual. You're embedded in a system of hierarchical consciousness. So everyone knows human beings are conscious. And of course, those who are intelligent human beings understand that other life forms like plants, trees, animals, fish, insects, they're also conscious. Denying their consciousness is half the reason for slaughtering them and gobbling them up. Because after all, they're just automatons of nature. They have no self. They have no consciousness, so we can eat them. This horrible tragedy, of course, causes such catastrophe on the Earth planet. But again, we're focusing on higher consciousness entities, devatas, powerful demigods like Indra, who is actually considered Lord of all the demigods. As explained in this chapter, all the other demigods, such as Vayu, who's in charge of the wind, Agni in charge of fire, Yama in charge of death, all these demigods are subordinate to Indra. The only ones Indra is not subordinate to are Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. Indra is the name of the post, just like Brahma is the name of the post. The current Indra's name is, who knows? Purandara. Indra, his reign, his regime, lasts for almost 307 million years. That means 71 Chatur Yugas, or described in Chaitanya Charitamrita as Divya Yugas. 71 of revolving Satya Treta Dwapara Kali. And then, generally speaking, Indra, at the end of his reign, because there's a partial annihilation, he and other senior devatas, they leave Swargalok because it's going to be annihilated, and they go up to Marchalok, a higher planet, and eventually make their way to Brahmaloka. And there they stay, Indra, the retired Indra, and his assistants. They stay there until the end of Brahma's lifetime, when, if the Indra and his associates are qualified, they all go back to Godhead with Brahma. There are residents of the heavenly planet, Swargalok, who don't go up. This going up and eventually making your way to the topmost material planet of the universe, Brahmalok, is for the most qualified. Those who have not purified themselves sufficiently, they go back down to the earth planet, as Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita. Chine punye marchalokam vishanti. Back and forth they go. Execute pious activities, go back up to Swargalok. The pious activities run out in the bank account, back down to earth. It's a very dizzy process. to become Indra, in case you're interested. Anyone want to become Indra? You want to be the enjoyer and controller. Well, that's where Indra is at. He's a devotee, but he is attached to material enjoyment and control. So he has to have some learning experiences. So to take the post of Indra, you must perform 100 flawless Ashvamedha yajnas, horse sacrifices. So you might think, well, what's the big deal? We've got horses running around here. You just do some kind of yajna and that's the horse yajna. No, it's an extraordinarily, inconceivably opulent ritual, which is not possible to execute today because the necessary resources aren't there, and the necessary priests who can flawlessly recite the appropriate mantras, they are not available. So what are we going to do in this dense darkness of the age of Kali? What can we do? Just chant Hare Krishna. And we have difficulty doing that. It's so simple that we often overlook it. In the grind of our daily affairs, it's very easy just to put aside those three words, Hare, Krishna, and Rama, right? Because everyone's got important things to do. Business, job, children. Yes, so we're chanting, but we're not doing our nam vrat. We're not doing our vows. But that's the way it is. When we hear regularly Srimad Bhagavatam with effort, and that effort to hear Bhagavatam is very important. It's that effort to hear Bhagavatam that brings you up through anartha nivritti, the cleansing of the unwanted things. It brings you up through that phase to the higher phases. Just the effort. I'm going to hear the Hare Krishna mantra. I'm going to chant according to my vows. I'm going to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Any opportunity to hear Bhagavatam, I'm going to seize that opportunity. That kind of effort, that heartfelt effort, attracts Krishna. So what's going on with Indra? He is envious. He is famous for having performed 100 flawless Ashvamedha yajnas. Very, very difficult feat. That's why there's one Indra, one Lord of Heaven. But Prithu Maharaj, a Shakya Vaishya avatar, an empowered incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, an empowered jiva, he's at 99. And Indra is panicking. Indra is known as Shatakratu, the performer of 100 horse sacrifices. That's his claim to fame, and that's why he holds his position. As we said, the current Indra is named Purandara. So he's thinking, if Prithu completes 100 horse sacrifices, he'll take my post. I'm the president of the heavenly planets. If Prithu continues, my position is threatened. So as Srila Prabhupada makes it clear in the purports, this kind of competition and rivalry even goes on in the heavenly planets. What to speak of earth? So don't be surprised when mundane politicians brag and boast and try to pull one another down. Don't be surprised about that. It goes on even in the heavenly planets, although in a much more powerful and much more civilized way. So you have leaders in the age of Kali on this third-class planet called Earth. bragging to each other. My nuclear button is bigger than yours. I can press a button and your whole country will go up in a blaze. So Indra has that same streak, although mixed in with that streak is his devotion. That's why we heard Brahma explaining that Indra is one of the most powerful assistants of the personality of Godhead. And here you are doing a yajna. Brahma is telling Prithu's associates and priests, here you are doing a yajna, but in the yajna, you call Indra. He gets a share of the yajna. So how can you kill him? How did this killing of Indra come about? This attempt to kill him? Indra kept stealing, as you know, the horse meant for the yajna. He was disrupting the yajna. He would come invisibly right when you would pursue him for stealing the sacrificial horse. Indra would disappear. Again and again this was happening. Prithu's son valiantly took off after Indra. But each time Prithu's son heroically would come near Indra to stop Indra from stealing the horse, Indra would appear in the role of a mendicant, in the role of a renunciate, a renounced person. So Prithu's son hesitated. Oh, I can't kill a Brahmana. I can't kill a renounced person. So this was going on again and again. The sacrifice would start. The horse would be tied to a golden stake. As you all know, it's not that the horse would be killed dead and that's it. Because the Brahmanas were so expert in reciting mantras, the horse would be killed in the sacrifice and then be rejuvenated in a fresh, younger, stronger body. But of course, as you know, there are no such Brahmanas available. Therefore, we don't do horse sacrifices here today. So Prithu's son is chasing Indra. And Indra keeps adopting disguises as a renunciate, as a sannyasi, as a brahmana. And so Prithu's son, okay, I can't kill him. He's dressed in that way. I don't kill brahmanas. I don't kill mendicants. So this keeps going on and on. And Indra, just to protect his prestige, is destroying Dharma because he's adopting falsely all these garbs, all these guises as a renunciate. And in that way, he's making a precedent for the future that persons can adopt the garb of a renunciate and have no qualification. In fact, engage in illicit activities. So this is the stir that Indra is causing, only because of his selfish purposes, that he doesn't want to be eclipsed by Prithu. He doesn't want his fame eclipsed. He doesn't want his position to be in danger. So Indra is destroying Dharma just for his own selfish purposes. So finally, because the sages at the yajna kept telling Prithu's son, kill him, kill him, kill him. And Prithu's son kept hesitating each time. No, I can't. He's dressed in the garb of a sadhu. He's dressed as a renunciate. I can't do that. So finally the sages said, okay, here's the deal. We're going to finish him off by our mantras. We'll use our Vedic mantras to call him in a way that he can't avoid coming. These mantras have never been used before to kill Indra, but we're going to use it on him because he's so attached to his position that he's causing havoc to Dharma by taking on all these guises as a sadhu. So we're going to use Vedic mantras, and that will make he'll be forced to come to the yajna, and then we'll cast him into the fire. So that's the situation right now. It's reached a very critical point. Therefore, who has to appear to solve this great crisis in the cosmos? Lord Brahma himself. And Lord Brahma, as we heard, right when the priests were ready to put the oblation into the fire, swaha, at that point, because they were angry, because Indra kept breaking religious principles by taking on the appearance of a sadhu, even though he's King Indra. So right at that moment, just when they're ready to pour the oblation into the sacrificial fire, swaha, Lord Brahma appears and says, no, you can't do this. This is how big a crisis it was. Lord Brahma himself had to appear. So we heard Lord Brahma address the priests. You can't kill Indra, the king of heaven. It's not your duty. Indra is Lord of all the demigods. In one sense, he's as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has that potential to be as good, but he's not acting that way right now. Indra is troubled by selfishness, and he's described by the acharyas as very stubborn. So you're thinking, how can you be Indra, Lord of the Devatas, with all these faults? But that is the way of mixed devotional service. Powerful bhakti mixed with powerful material desires. So now Brahma is going to look for the best solution to this problem. What's the best solution? Indra's not ready to hear anything. He's too stubborn. He's going to go on wrecking religious principles by repeatedly taking the disguise of a sadhu, of a renunciant. Indra's doing anything to stop the 100th yajna performed by Prithu. So how does Brahma resolve the situation? It's very interesting. Brahma calculates, who's the most Krishna-conscious person here, Indra or Prithu? So Brahma concluded, it's Prithu. His bhakti is much more stronger than Indra. So therefore, Brahma appealed to Prithu. You back off. Because come on, all these yajnas, it's just karma. You're far beyond that. You're far beyond ritualistic activities. You're a bhakta. You're Prithu. So then you might ask, if that's true, if Prithu is so far beyond karmic activity, why is he doing it? As a king, he's demonstrating to the citizens what they should do if they want a happy material life, as happy as can be. They should perform yajna. And for those who are immersed in karma kanda, the path of good karma, and balancing out the bad karma, you're supposed to do yajnas. So Prithu is demonstrating for them. But that's not where Prithu is at personally. So Brahma reminds him, you're a bhakta. What do you need doing all these Ashvamedha yajnas for? Okay. I know you're doing it to set the example as king, but you don't really need to do 100. Why not just stop it at 99? And therefore, Indra, who's so attached and so damn stubborn, he'll stop all this havoc that he's causing. So you might say, well, what does Prithu get in return for backing off? Brahma is very expert at ISKCON resolve. He's trying to devise a win-win situation. All right, Prithu, you concede. You won't do the 100th sacrifice. What do you get in return? You'll get more fame than Indra. Even though you haven't done the 100th sacrifice, you've only done 99, your 99 will get more fame than Indra's 100. Externally, Prithu is motivated by fame because he's a Kshatriya. But that's only external. As you know from 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, a Kshatriya has Ishvara Bhava, attached to control. Of course, Prithu is a Shaktivesh avatar, empowered incarnation. So it only externally seems like he's attached to fame. In any case, this is how Brahma solves the situation. Brahma picks out the person who will listen, who will be submissive and not be so damn attached. So that happened to be Prithu. Okay, Prithu, look, back off. Let him have what he wants. Let Indra have what he wants. He doesn't want you doing the 100th yajna. Don't do it. But you'll be more famous than him with your 99. So in this way, Lord Brahma solves the crisis, and Indra stops causing such havoc by dressing as a sadhu, stealing the horse, and because he's dressed as a sadhu, no one will punish him, because Prithu and Prithu's son don't want the stain on their record that they've killed a sadhu, even though Indra's just disguising himself as a sadhu. Still, Prithu and his son are showing respect for the Vedic system. All right, he wants to dress as a sadhu, so we won't kill him. Okay, we'll respect the renounced order of life, even though he's a phony. All these intricacies just because someone's materially attached. So we can look at our situation on this third-class planet known as Earth, and we see how we can have the tendency to want to push someone down who dares to equal us or surpass us in whatever way. Rivalry, social pressure. You have to keep up with everyone else. The others can't have more than you. In my travels around the world at various temples, I notice each temple has its kind of pecking order system based on various characteristics. I won't name what go the various places, but there's a place in the UK where it looks like you're ranked according to the vehicle you drive. Are you driving up to the temple on Sunday with a Mercedes, BMW? No? Maybe you're missing Krishna's blessings. But if you drive up to the temple in its massive parking lot, car park, with a Mercedes or BMW, good bhakti. Another temple in Australia. They don't mind me saying it. I talk about it in Bhagavatam class. Where the city where Jai Shila Prabhu is from, and Vimala Devi Dasi. The status indicator is property investments. Especially in the area, the high-priced area where the temple is. If you've got property investments there, you're known to be paka. Not one property investment, but several, because persons in the congregation have several property investments in such a high-class area of doctors and lawyers. So there's kind of an unconscious pecking order. There's probably other indicators, but those are just a few that I know of. So there's that material tendency we have, even though we're not Indra. There's that material tendency, which is the same, to cut down rivals to the throne, to try to diminish the glories of someone who looks like they're surpassing you. That tendency is always there. And Indra is showing you that even on the heavenly planets, that tendency comes out. And therefore there's havoc from time to time. And Indra's a bit stubborn. At the same time, he has such access. He can enter into Krishna Leela. And in fact, a partial expansion of Krishna, Vamanadev, becomes Indra's younger brother. Both are born from Aditi, the mother of the Devatas. Of course, the birth of the Supreme Personality Godhead has no touch from the laws of material nature. But externally, both Indra and Vamanadev come from Aditi. She's the Mata of the Devatas. And so in that way, Vamanadev is the younger brother of Indra. So Indra is no ordinary person. After he tried to destroy Vrindavan in the Govardhan Leela, and you know, Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, Radha Giridhari Ki Jai, and after the hill was put back in place, Indra was feeling he was repenting. And so he came to offer his prayers to Krishna. He came to the base of Govardhan Hill to offer his prayers and beg forgiveness from Krishna. Krishna arranged to be at Govinda Kund that's at the base of Govardhan Hill, in a private place, because Krishna wanted to preserve Indra's ego. Indra's a big man. So Krishna didn't want that Indra had to humiliate himself or act humble in public. So Krishna arranged to be by himself at the base of Govardhan Hill near Govinda Kund. And so therefore, Indra could approach Krishna when he was all alone, and Indra wouldn't have to go through the horror of being humiliated in public. Just see how sensitive Krishna is. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj always said that when Prabhupada would want to chastise one of his senior leaders, he would never do it in public. He would always call the person in private. Because otherwise, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, for one who has publicly honored, dishonor is worse than death. So now the situation is ending. Lord Brahma himself has resolved it. It's a win-win situation. He's appealed to Prithu, who is more Krishna conscious than even Indra. And in that way, Indra will stop his nefarious activities. Any questions? Yes. She asked, how is it that powerful bhakti and powerful material desires coexist? You've read, no doubt, in Chaitanya Charitamrita about the bhakti lata, the creeper of devotion, and how you water that creeper of bhakti with hearing and chanting about Krishna. But sometimes not only is the bhakti lata watered, but also weeds take advantage indirectly of the potency of your hearing and chanting. And weeds grow around the bhakti creeper. And if you don't check them, the weeds can choke your bhakti creeper. For example, you're probably wondering for an example. Well, let's say, I know she doesn't do that, but let's say Munjaranya starts thinking, I'm running the loft in Auckland. Just see how powerful my bhakti is. Everyone recognizes my managemental expertise, my charisma. I'm actually quite charismatic, if you ask me. And oh, is there some young devotee coming along who might take my post? Oh, no. Send her to Wellington. So indirectly, by the nourishment of the hearing and chanting, because you're doing devotional service also, of course, devotional hearing and chanting is devotional service, but you're doing other activities in bhakti. You're doing those activities, but you start thinking, does everyone notice my glories? Is everyone doing what I say all the time? Because I know what's best. So in that way, the weed of pride can grow. And that's what happens to Indra. He becomes very proud and very attached to his fame and position. It's like Munjaranya Devi thinking, I'm in charge of the loft. No one can tell me what to do. The board, what do they know? Just give me the money and I know how to spend it. Or not from you, but sometimes I even have heard in the past from managers. The men, what do they know? They're just totally spaced out. They can't focus. They're just so caught up with their material desires. Give us all the power. So you're doing devotional service, but because there are material motivations, weeds grow. Weeds take advantage of the fertile soil. The fertile soil is created by the hearing and chanting. Oh, you should be famous. You're not doing material affairs after all. You're serving Krishna. Does everyone notice what you're doing and how great you are? So that's how, in the course of doing powerful devotional service, powerful anartas, weeds can grow if you're not careful. Yes. He's asking that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, Yad Yadat Chariti Shrestha. The Shrestha, what the leader, the great person does, everyone else follows. So why is Indra acting in such a destructive way, destroying Dharma by disguising himself as a sadhu, as a renunciate? What can we learn from this? We can learn the extremes that material desires will drag us to. Indra was desperate. And so he even performed a dharma to gain his goals of preventing Prithu from achieving the position and fame that Indra wanted all for himself. He's a very interesting character. I've been studying him in the Shastra recently. You know him from Govardhan Leela. There's another Leela, which is also outrageous. It's a Dwarka Leela involving Indra. There's this demon, Narakasura, or Bhaumasura, you've read about in Krishna book. Yes? In Bhagavatam, he's referred to mainly as Narakasura, but in Krishna book, Prabhupada refers him as Bhaumasura. Both names are, of course, correct. So he was causing havoc not only on the earth planet, but he was causing havoc in the heavenly planets. He was that powerful. So Narakasura even went to the heavenly planets and stole some heavenly celestial paraphernalia, like, for example, the earrings of Mother Aditi, the mother of the demigods. Not ordinary jewelry, by the way. Celestial earrings. But Narakasura stole them. And then there's the umbrella of Indra. The umbrella of Varuna. You think, what's the big deal about an umbrella? Well, the umbrella of Varuna showers gold. Underneath the umbrella is always pouring a shower of gold. So, Narakasura took that. And Narakasura also went to the top of one mountain, maybe it was Meru, and on top of that mountain is the heavenly playground area of the devatas, the demigods. Just like you want to break, you go to Rotorua, to the hot pools. You think it's very heavenly. I was at the hot pools a few days ago with Navadeep Leela and Nanda Gopa because it's good for, after coming off long flights, to go in the hot pool. But I don't think it's heavenly. So Narakasura took the top of the mountain where all the demigods would sport. Beautiful exotic animals, beautiful nature. He confiscated that also. It was such a disturbance that Indra went to earth because Krishna was on the earth performing his pastimes. Krishna was in Dwarka. Indra went to Dwarka and in the Sudharma assembly hall, he bowed down at Krishna's lotus feet and begged Krishna, please, this Narakasura, too much. He's causing such a disturbance not only on earth, but also in the heavenly planets. Can you please do something about him? So you read in the Krishna book, or Bhagavatam, how there was a fierce battle. Krishna took Satyabhama with him on the back of Garuda and took her to his battle with Narakasura and also the Mura demon. Such a fierce battle. You might wonder, why did he take Satyabhama with him, his wife? He wanted to show her a good time. Watch this. It's going to be a fierce battle. You'll be by my side. You'll get to see it all. Such a nice husband, right? Satyabhama wasn't afraid. She knew she's with Krishna. You would probably be afraid. Take me home. Take me home. So, after the battle is over, Narakasura is finished, Mura is finished, then what? Krishna gathers the stolen celestial objects, like the earrings of Aditi and the umbrella of Varuna, and he and Satyabhama go to Indraloka, to Indra's capital city, Swargalok, in other words. His capital city, Amaravati. And there, Krishna presents Indra personally with the stolen objects. And Indra, of course, is very thankful. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you very much. And then what happens as Krishna and Satyabhama, riding on Garuda, prepare to leave Indra's planet? Satyabhama reminds Krishna, that other wife of yours, Rukmini, was given a parijata flower by Narada Muni. Now, Rukmini is very submissive. That's her personality for giving pleasure to Krishna. Very submissive. And she's known as the senior wife. But Satyabhama says, Rukmini may be the senior wife, but I am the favorite. And Satyabhama has a personality for giving Krishna pleasure. She's very feisty. temperamental, all for Krishna's enjoyment. She can make a scene. She can throw a temper tantrum. So she told Krishna as they were leaving Indra's planet, riding on Garuda, you tell me that I'm your favorite. You have told me that I'm your heart of hearts. How is this that Rukmini has a Parijata flower from the heavenly planets given by Narada Muni? I don't have it. So what does Krishna say? Well, why are you making such a fuss over just one Parijata flower? Here we are leaving the heavenly planets. I'll grab a whole tree for you, a whole Parijata tree. And he does it. How does Indra react? He's thinking, wait a minute. Krishna has been hanging out with human beings too much. He dares to bring from the heavenly planets to earth a Parijata tree, which is only meant for the heavenly planets. He's been bewildered, influenced by human beings. Secondly, he's henpecked by his wives. I like the way Prabhupada explains with the Sanskrit term arupita. That what's going on with you, you project as going on with everyone else. So actually it's Indra who's henpecked by his wife Shachi Devi. But he's thinking, Krishna's henpecked, and therefore he just did whatever Satyabhama wants. So Indra actually put up resistance. He's tried to stop Krishna from taking the Parijata tree back to the earth planet. But Krishna came out. The Bhagavatam doesn't describe whatever conflict they had, whether they were transcendental fisticuffs or whatever. But Indra put up some resistance to stop Krishna. And of course, Krishna came out on top. So just think about it. 1 minute, Indra's so grateful. Thank you for defeating Narakasura, retrieving the celestial items. The next minute, wait, what are you doing? You're taking my Parijata tree. What a character. So this is Indra, full of surprises. And what you can learn from this is don't aspire to go to the heavenly planets. Go back to Godhead. Yes. How does Indra learn from what? Yes. Indra will get his. Don't worry. Yes, it seems like Indra's off the hook and he got away with his rascaldom. But he does powerful mistakes and has powerful learning moments. Just like Govardhan Leela. It was a very powerful learning experience for Indra. But then he makes the same mistake again because he's very stubborn. But nevertheless, he becomes purified enough to go to the planet of Lord Brahma, Brahmalok, and then from there go back to Godhead. He's got 307 million years to learn his lesson. But still he's worried. Someone else is going to take my post. And all the demigods are worried. We could fall back down when our good karma runs out. We could fall down to the earth planet. So therefore, if we have any punya, good karma left in our accounts, you read in the 5th canto, the Devatas say, let us take birth on earth. Because you can go back to Godhead very easily after a short life on earth. So that's their fallback plan. If there's any value left in our account of pious activities, let us take birth on earth. Particularly, let's take birth in Bharat in India, or let us take birth in a family of devotees. Let's take birth in Dharma Setu's family. Huh? You can go for 10. Yes. Prabhupada would sometimes describe Earth in that way. Just like in India for the trains. You ever been on the train in India? There's first class, second class. Who's ridden in third class? Oh, it's unforgettable, isn't it? So he would refer to the Earth planet as this third class planet. Yes? Yes. Ishvara Parama Krishna. Outside the universe is Krishna, the supreme consciousness. During Chaitanya Leela, the Devatas come to earth disguised as human beings to participate in Harinam Sankirtan. You read in Chaitanya Charitamrita how even like Lord Shiva and Parvati will come and meet Lord Chaitanya in a solitary place and converse. And the Devatas, just like when Mahaprabhu on Gaur Purnima, when on his appearance, the Devatas would come, Devata ladies would come disguised as human beings and offer presentations to the newborn child. So in that way, the Sankirtan movement spreads all over the whole universe. You don't deserve anything. We deserve to go through unlimited sinful reactions for our sinful activities. If not in this lifetime, then in countless previous lifetimes. We don't deserve anything. Therefore, a Vaishnav is very much repenting. So much real repentance means don't do it again. Make the best of this short human form of life. Finish your business in this lifetime and go back to Krishna. And then as you become more advanced in bhakti, an older devotee, you start wanting to understand, going back to Krishna. What does all that involve? What are all the intricacies, the ins and outs? What will I do with Krishna? Where will I go with Krishna? What will be my relationship? There's so much for us to absorb in this short lifetime. How do we have any time for illusory activities? But we'll find a way, right? Just like Indra. Jai Srila Prabhu. He's asking about envy and rivalry in the material world and the spiritual world. Well, just like I explained about Rukmini and Satyabhama. Satyabhama is definitely feisty and she's full of rivalry, and it could be seen that she's jealous. Rukmini has a parijata flower. I don't have anything. But it's all for Krishna's pleasure, 100%. You'll read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and more extensively in Ujjvala Nilomani, how the different consorts of Krishna have varieties And the variety is meant 100% for Krishna's pleasure. So some of his consorts are very submissive. But Krishna is, he's Om Purnam, he's perfect and complete. Why should he just have submissive wives? Why not have feisty wives too? And of course, in Braj Leela, Srimati Radharani can be very feisty. No, I won't talk to him anymore. He's looking at other gopis. I will not talk to him. Don't speak to me about him. And then a cowherd boy, one of the intimate cowherd boys, Piyanarma Sakas, like Subal or Ujjwala, they'll bring a message from Krishna. Forgive me, forgive me. No, don't bring that cowherd boy near me. It's all for Krishna's pleasure. We can't imagine that. In the material world, what a man fears the most is a feisty partner. But Krishna is a supreme enjoyer. He has it all. He has the submissive partners. He has the feisty ones, all for his pleasure. And he relishes, in Braj Leela, he relishes going to Srimati Radharani and begging, please. All for his pleasure. And his consorts know that. Everything they do is 100% for Krishna's enjoyment. But you can't imitate that. For the average man, material man, to have to deal with a tempestuous wife is hellish. And for a material lady to have to deal with a neglectful husband, hellish. But although the gopis accuse Krishna of such neglect, they can never give up Krishna for a second. It's not like that in the material world, though, amongst I know the statistics for the USA. Over 60% of men who are involved in a divorce were caught totally by surprise when the wife asked for a divorce. 60%. I was doing all the right things. I mean, I didn't talk to her for 6 months, but I was taking out the rubbish. I was paying the bills. Everyone's looking at me like, 60% of men who go through a divorce were caught totally by surprise. They had no idea. What is it? Is Mathura Mandala still here? Yes, I could tell the story you told me. Yeah, I have his permission. Before he married the angelic Leela Mandala, in his previous marriage, material marriage, he thought everything was fine. And so he was seated on the couch with his wife, and they were watching TV together. And Mathura Mandal, in his non-devotee days, had the remote in his hand as they were watching TV together. And then suddenly, she says, I've had enough of this. And Mathura Mandal said, oh, should I change the channel? He didn't have a clue, didn't have an idea that she could be in any way feeling discontent. Oh, you mean to change the channel? No problem. No, I've had enough of you. Anyway, out she went, and in came Leela Mandal. Out with the non-devotee, in with the devotee. Yes, way in the back. Are you like Rukmini or Satyabhama? Never mind, don't answer. How can we what? Well, you're asking someone who's in that other ashram, the cheaper ashram. So you better ask someone who's got 50 years experience, like Jai Shila Prabhu, or you can ask Dharma Seta Prabhu, who has a big dynasty. You get a more realized answer from them. Okay? Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. She's very happy in her marriage. All right. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.